Now, with all of our speakers on stage, we would like to start the session. We will start the session with Pak Anies. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll be asking you a few questions one at a time to guide our discussion. The first question would be, Indonesia is projected to become the world's 4th largest economy by 2045 and the largest in ASEAN. With that in mind, what do you think is outdated in our education system, and what kind of reform do we need to prepare in the next generation?
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the organizer, Pak Dino, and all the committee for organizing such a great conference of the people of ASEAN. Let's give a round of applause to Pak Dino and friends. Let me go directly to the questions. ASEAN educations. If I may touch a little bit on this issue. Before ASEAN was formed in 1967, it was initially meetings of Minister of Education that started all of this. It was in 1965, and I think next November we'll commemorate the 60 years of Sea Moy, the Southeast Asia Minister of Education. And it was the collaborations of Ministry of Education, Minister of Educations, and collaboration of educations that lead into ASEAN. And I hope that collaboration continue and strengthening the people of ASEAN collaborations. Now, with your questions, I think there's a phenomenon today that we're facing, that we have a children of 21st century. However, our school system is still operating in the 20th century mindset. So the students were 21st century, the teachers were 20th century, and the classroom layout is 19th centuries actually. So 3 centuries differences in our schools. So if we are talking about that, what is outdated, I would say that the root cause is that our system today is still designed for industrial age education system. Mass instructions, memorizations, conformity, and it is not yet designed for today's digital network and fast changing age. So that's issue number 1. And then there is a hidden inequality. The inequality is not only about inequality in terms of access to teachers, or access to facilities, or access to schools, but inequality of imagination. This is even more challenging. Children in the cities are exposed to possibilities that is so large. They're exposed to role models, new technologies, and vast opportunities. On the other hand, children in the rural areas or in the poor areas, they may never meet people who went to universities. They may never meet people who work in an emerging industry. So, and without imaginations of what is possible, talent is wasted before it has even had a chance to grow. So the reform that is needed to address this outdated problems in our education system is not only to reform about skills gap, but also about dreams gap. I often talk to our teachers that when you speak to your students and ask them about what do you want to do in the future, what do you want to be in the future, whatever is in their dream is a function of their knowledge. If students don't even know what is a pilot, there is no way they can dream of becoming a pilot. So dreams is a function of knowledge, and it is extremely important today to, one, reform our school system from the 20th century mindset into 21st century mindset, and then address not only skill gaps, but also imagination gap. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Panis. That's a very powerful perspective on how we should reform not only our school system, but also address our imagination gap. Moving on to the next question. As the job market changes so fast, Pa, especially with technology, automation, and new industries, how can governments and stakeholders ensure that education truly matches today's job demands?
Yes, indeed. Jobs market are transforming. We have been seeing that AI, automatizations, gig economy already changing how people earn a living. So many routine jobs will disappear. We have seen that. On the other hand, creativity, collaborations, and adaptability matter even more. However, if I may respond to that, we should never see education simply as means to prepare young people to be an employee or for the job market. Education is not simply work preparations. We must prepare our students, our young people, to be citizens, to be a complete individuals that are able to think critically, engage in a democracy, solve community problems. And there are a few areas that must be focused on that. Number one is on digital literacy. Ability to use technology wisely is important, not simply ability to operate technology. And ability to produce content is much more important than our technical skills in consuming materials in the digital device. Number two is problem solving. Ability to solve problems, learning how to find solutions to new challenges is even more critical today than it used to be. And therefore, our school system must prepare that. And the third component, which is not less important, is empathy and collaborations. We are now living in the world where collaborations is one of a key ingredient for success for all, not only for individual success. Therefore, we have been seeing that education in the aspect of empathy and collaborations has produced students with ability to work across cultures, across disciplines, and not only succeeding individually. And we're talking about ASEAN. I think we need to move a little bit further on regional mobility for learning. If I may share here, we need exchanges not only of university students, but also movement of teachers, young volunteers, curriculum experiments across nations in ASEAN, across countries in ASEAN. So I'll give you an example. A math teacher from Vietnam, for example, teaching in rural Indonesia for a year. A youth volunteer from Cambodia, perhaps helping digital literacy in Malaysia. Those mobility help not only in terms of skills, but also in terms of children growing up together, seeing themselves as part of ASEAN community. So with that, I hope we will be able to make education more relevant and even more relevant to the future of ASEAN community. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your answer, Pa Anis. That connects so well to the theme of relevance, that education should not only inform us, but also prepare us for the future. And the last question for Pa Anis. As technology advances rapidly, how can we make sure that those who are currently left behind, especially in rural or undeserved areas, can catch up?
The biggest challenge is not about advanced technology in rich schools, but how to include those who are left behind already. If we are talking about equal opportunity, that assumes there is already equal preparedness. So what we need today is we must make sure that all students, be it in the rural or in the urban area, have equal opportunity to access technology. And that is key. And in our own experience, we work with young Indonesians who are willing to be a teacher through Indonesia Mengajar project. These are best university graduates that serve a year as teachers of elementary school in a remote area. We have been seeing that citizens can mobilize to reach remote schools, bridge infrastructure gaps, bring hope to children in isolated villages, only if civil society and government work together. So the key is for government not to monopolize the work in addressing inequality in education. Invite civil society, invite community activists to be part of the effort, because often they are the ones who are able to reach all the way to the most remote communities in our society. Now, when we talk about digital divide, let's also enlarge our conversation that we need not only to talk about digital divide, but also learning divide. Some children are already far behind, and unless we act differently, they will never catch up with whatever technology is provided. So what are the solutions? There are three potential solutions that I offer here. One is high dosage tutoring. That is intensive, regular, small group tutoring 3 to 5 times a week. This is proven to accelerate learning, especially for children who are several grade levels behind. But, and this is not one-time remedial, but sustained support. 2 is community learning pods. Local groups of 8 to 12 children, guided by trained facilitator or volunteers, learning together outside formal school hours. And then this has been proven to be useful when schools were lack of teachers or when digital access is weak or unavailable. And the third possible solutions is peer-to-peer mentoring. Older students helping younger students in a structured lessons. This has been practiced in many remote areas, and it's proven to build confidence in both the mentors and also the learners. So those are 3 possible solutions. But the principle is this: education is an ecosystem. It is not only government, but also communities, NGOs, private sectors, local leaders, all must collaborate. And inclusion is not a side issue. It is the core of reform. If we fail the weakest, the whole system fails. So building an ecosystem is a must, and we must always address problems from the lens of ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pa Anies, for setting the stage with those insights from policy to grassroots innovations.